Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. All praises be to Allah who gives us His blessings so that we can continue learning this material of linguistics subject. So, we are I myself Kustilana number 7, Lisanul Aziza number 19, and Siti Maulida number 20 going to present the 13th chapter of a linguistic book, the first language acquisition. Well guys, first of all, this material is definitely easier for those who have already had a baby. Yes, I'm not lying. I wanna ask you, who among you who have had a baby? No one, right? But no problem. It is also easier for those who have little brother or sister. Do you know why? Yeah, because this material is a bit more practical. So I myself believe that someone who has experienced it maybe will get a better understanding than those who just learn from the theory. Let's move to the next slide. And the second slide is introduction. Before we learn the material deeper, we have to know what the first language acquisition is. To make it easier, I will give you an easy analogy and example. We know that all of us are native Indonesian speaker, aren't we? Yes, we are. But have you ever imagined how we can master the bahasa itself? Did we directly master it since we were born? No, definitely not. You were not saying, "Ya Allah, akhirnya aku lahir ya Allah. Capek ya Allah aku direm ibuku. Gelap, panas, sempit pula. Ya ampun." No, you were not saying that. That's so scary if you were like that. So, have you got the point? Yeah, the purpose of this material is explaining how infants or babies learn their first language step by step and also how they adjust with their surroundings. Get ready guys, let's move to the next slide. Well, the third slide, we have what do we learn in this chapter. The first one we have acquisition. In acquisition, it contains the basic knowledge of the material. And then input. Input is about where voice and sound come from. And then the acquisition schedule. There are 4 parts here. Going, babbling, the word stage, and telegraphic speech. Each of these will be explained by the next speaker. And then the acquisition process. The acquisition process contains of how children, infants or babies learn through the imitation and correction. And the last one is developing morphology, syntax and semantics. Yeah, we have learned these 2 material in the previous chapter. Morphology is about the study of how words are formed, and syntax is about the way to combine words into phrases and sentences, and semantics is the study of meaning. Okay, I hope it is clear, so we can move to the next slide. And now we are going to learn acquisition and input. Acquisition is the first process of how infants or babies learn the first language. And input, as I have explained before, input is about where voice or sound comes from. The first one is acquisition. All infants make cooing and babbling noises during their first year, but deaf infants stop after 6 months. In order to speak the language, a child must be able to hear. This is the main point. That's why deaf children are unable to speak, because they do not hear any sounds or voices. And then input. Input is a voice provided by people nearby, mostly family, by talking to them with caregiver speech. Caregiver speech is a speech that uses simple sentence structure as a treated intonation and slower tempo. As you can see here, there is a picture, a daddy and his son. So I will give you the example of caregiver speech. Oh, my baby. Yes, you, my baby. You are so handsome. Yes, you, my son. I love you. Daddy is so proud of you. That's caregiver speech. Okay, that's all from me, and the other slides will be presented by Lisa and Siti Maulida. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, now it's my turn to present this material. I'm listener Azizah Putriana. My register number is 19 and I'm from Literature 2008 class. And now I would explain about the acquisition schedule and the acquisition process material. For the first one, we are going to discuss about the acquisition schedule. Schedule, or we can call stage. It is learned because it is learned to be the developing language of the children. All normal children mostly have the same time in developing their language because it depends on the infant's biological capacity and brain maturation. Long before children begin to talk, they have been actively processing what they hear. We can identify what very young children are paying attention to by the way they increase or decrease sucking behavior in response to speech sound. Because, for example, smiles, laugh with no sound, and turn their head. Okay, we can skip this. Next, we are going to discuss about cueing and babbling. Cueing, the earliest speech of the infants during their first few months of life would use vowel-like sounds such as O and A, and particularly have vowels similar to I and U. By 4 months of age, the infants to create sounds similar to the vowel consonant K and J and G. Then 5 months old, babies can already hear the difference between the vowel I and A and discriminate between syllables like pa and ka. Then babbling. Between 6 and 8 months, they start producing vowel and consonant like ba 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 and ga ga ga, and combination that. Around 9 to 10 months, there are recognizable intonation present to the consonant and vowel combination being produced as well as variation in the combination such as ba ba ba, ba ba, da da. Certain syllable sequences such as ma 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 and da 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 are inevitably interpreted by parents as version of mama and dada. Next, the 1 and 2 word stage. The 1 stage, 1 word. Between 12 and 18 months, the infant starts uttering the 1 word speech like milk, cat, cookie, and cup. In this stage, children begin to produce a variety of recognizable single unit utterance. Next, 2 word or 2 word stage. Between 18 to 20 months, the child vocabulary most beyond 50 words. Then the acts of two, they're able to use the words speech like mommy eat, uh, and then the meaning is it can be either the baby wants to eat or the baby sees her mommy eating. In this point, the child not only produces speech but also refused feedback, confirming that the utterance work as a contribution to the interaction. Moreover, by the age of 2, whether the child is producing 200 or 300 distinct words, he or she will be capable of understanding 5 times as many and will typically be treated as an entertaining conversational partner by the principal caregiver. Okay, next, telegraphic speech. In this developing language of children, can combining two words into a simple sentence without confounding grammatical rules. For example, cat sleep. Then, at the age 2 and 2.5 years old, the children are able to speak multiple words speech like daddy go, bye bye. At 3, their language ability has come closer to the form of adult language. And that at this point, in this stage, it is worth considering what kind of influence the adult have in development of the child's speech. Okay, now we are going to the acquisition process. Okay. The adult people's correction are not effective to determine how the children speak. They sometimes make a verb. Okay, in this point we discussed about the acquisition process. The chilling with production appears to be mostly a matter of trying out construction and testing whether they work or not. It is simply not possible that the child is acquiring the language principally through a process of imitating adult speech. Because certainly, children can be hard to repeat versions of what adults say on occasion, and they are clearly in the process of adopting a lot of vocabulary from the speech they heard. However, adults simply do not produce many of the expressions that turn up in children's speech. One factor that seems to be important in this child acquisition process is the actual use of sound and word combination either in interaction with others or in wordplay alone. Okay, I feel enough for me. Will continue by my friend. Thank you.
Okay, now this is my turn to present this material. I'm Siti Maulidatul Rahma, number 20, and I will explain about developing morphology first. In a 2.5 years old child is going beyond telegraphic speech form. As previous explanation, that telegraphic speech form is the children start using short sentences that contain only essential words. For example, when a child wants to get milk, they will only say, get milk. They are in order that makes sense. There's one verb and one noun. And incorporating some of inflectional morphemes. The first to appear is ing form in expression such as cat sitting and mommy reading book. It is just simple word. No, it is just simple sentences, but they start to using the ing form. The next is typically the marking of regular plurals with the as form, as in boys or cats, and then cars, doors, and etc. The next, developing syntax. In this part, the children is going to forming question. The first step, where Kitty? The second step, what book name? The third step, will you help me? They use this sentence from simple sentence until the complex sentence with grammatical form. The next, forming negative. The first step, not sit here. Second step, I don't want it. The third step, I didn't not have it. It is like previous explanation about forming question, that they use the simple sentence until the complex sentence with tenses or grammatical form. The next, developing semantic. The anecdotes that parents retell about their child's early speech usually involve examples of the strange use of words. Having been warned that flies bring germs into the house. One child was asked what germs were. The answer was something the flies play with. It is not always possible to determine so precisely the meanings that children attach to the word they use. So, the mom will explain with simple meaning and doesn't precisely meaning. It makes the children understand about it, so the moms cannot use the complex explanation, but they must explain about it simply. And then conclusion. In learning the first language, the infants mostly get some mistakes such as grammatical errors and phonological errors. As their brain develops and adjusts, their speaking ability gets better gradually. So, this is our presentation. Thanks for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.